And out to my commercial, I see Sue Hinman, our District 3 County Commissioner. And Russ is our District 5 Commissioner, and he couldn't be here. However, he didn't give any words to pass on, so I'm not going to pass them on. I'm burnt out from the primary in the last month. Are you all? Yeah. So this is why I think our numbers are low. This is why Mike is not wearing pants. This is why we didn't have coffee and cake and we didn't have the big hoopla beforehand, because we just needed to take a break, and the intent is to have those that want to speak tonight speak and get home before the sun's down, and do a little bit of party business and get together, because we need to be together. Mike, do you want to come up and give a Reader's Digest version of what we did last weekend at the county state convention?
Hello, y'all. My name is Mike Magnanti. I'm your vice chairman. How are you? It's good to see you all. So last week on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was the state convention, the NCGOP convention. We went. We were there. We did not go Thursday. Thursday's just like a meet and greet. We didn't go. We went Friday and Saturday. That's when the business of the party is done. And it's very similar to our convention that we had here and the one we had in District 4. Very similar. We tried to bring, we voted on a bunch of different stuff. We tried to bring out the plan of organization change that here in Granville County we passed. We sent to District 4 and passed. We sent it to the state. And procedurally, it is about as clear as mud as to whether or not the state is supposed to take it up. I still contend they were. Unfortunately, I was not the decision maker, and they didn't agree with me. And so we came off of the floor, it's called, and we need a 2/3 vote majority to have it heard, and we need a 2/3 vote majority to have it passed. We did not get the 2/3 vote to have it heard, so that was the end of it. So it was killed, essentially. But the good news is this: I learned a lot, spoke to a lot of the people that are the powers that be, the people that make the decisions. How do we present what we want? And I learned how to do that correctly, and was told by the chairman of the convention that if we do it correctly, he will make sure that we have our say. So that's very good news. So next year we'll go back to the drawing board, and I've been contacted by a bunch of people about what we proposed and what they liked, what they didn't like, and so we'll do it all again next year and figure out what we feel like is the best thing to present that will have the best chance of passing. So this is legislation. This is how it happens. So that's what we did, and then we came home. Brad was with us. It was a great time. We got to see a bunch of different people. This year, we did not do what we did last year, which is last year we went to everything. We went to all the dinners, we went to all the meetings, we went to everything. This year, we did not do that. This year, we went to the business stuff, and we went to Bonefish Grill. Like we didn't do all that other stuff. But it was great to see people. It was great to rekindle friendships, and shake people's hands and put names to faces. We email a lot, as you all know. And it was really good to put names to faces and be able to say, oh, that's this person that I've been emailing with for 6 months, and shake their hand, and they get to know you too. And so it was good. It was a good thing, and I think that we represented Granville County pretty well. What else was I going to say about? Huh? Oh, so guess what time it is, folks? It's the Lincoln Reagan dinner time. So now that we are on the other side of the primary, now we get to focus on the Lincoln Reagan dinner, which is happening when? I'm glad you asked. October 8th. It's going to be, so this, last year, if you remember, it was the end of October and it was freezing. And this year, it's going to be October 8th and it will not be freezing. And it's all indoors. Yes!
Yes, that's even better.
And it's all under one roof. Yes! So this year we're going to have it at Vino Oasis in STEM instead of at the place last year, which was beautiful, but it was just too cold. And it was a little bit too expensive for what we're trying to accomplish. And what we are trying to accomplish is raise money for the party And when I say for the party, that means so that the party can then give money to our candidates, and especially towards the month of October and November when they need that final push to drag them over the finish line. And so that's the goal of the dinner, not only to hang out and like applaud EC Sykes when he makes his awesome speech, but it is also to raise money for us so that we can do another one, and so that we can give money to our candidates. So we need people to accomplish this task, so we are taking names for the committee, for the Lincoln Reagan Dinner Committee, and I'll send an email out. I know you believe me about that, and sign up how we can get together, and we'll make that happen. But that's now our thing to obsess over. So primary was great. Huh? The gun raffle. Our gun raffle was a pretty quick one this past year. It was very successful. We started it in February, middle of February-ish, and we ended it our April meeting. So it was just right at 2 months, and we raised about $2,200. So that's good stuff. And Sue Hinman, she won. And Sue bought her raffle the night of the drawing right outside there. And she kicked it up to 5. So it was a great value for Sue. Roger thinks it was rigged. I'm not 100% sure how I could rig it. Maybe he can show me, and then I'll rig next one. That's it, right? I think that's it. That's all I got. Anybody have any questions for me before I leave?
You want to do another raffle for the dinner?
That's a good idea. I don't know. We're gonna create a committee, and you know, since you made that suggestion, I encourage you to join the committee. Yeah, we'll fix on that. Thank you.
Speaking of money and raffles, our bank account right now is $63,53.94. $6,353.94. Frank Sussman, why don't you take a minute and talk about what's going on in Vance County, June 24th, Friday, June 24th.
I'll do it. Vance County has a banquet coming up. I just so happen to have some tickets. It's Friday, June the 24th. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's going to be there. Sandy Smith will be there. I'll be there. There'll be others there as well, and we want you there. The tickets are $25. Barbecue, and chicken, and it's going to be a fun evening too.
It's going to be good.
I mean, a real fun evening. There's going to be some music, but if you have an interesting ticket, I think 18. I have 18 here tonight. I think.
That's Granville County's allotment for the dinner.
That's right.
That's our allotment. Yes.
But just see me, or I'll be glad to take you some tickets now. I mean, sometimes people walk away. How many you want, Brad? One? All right. I mean, I don't take any time. You go ahead and
You walk, I'll talk.
I know how it is. Since I'm a pastor, I know how it is. If you don't get people now, they walk out the door.
Pass the plate.
With the intentions of getting tickets or volunteering, Mike.
Yeah, right.
And they don't do it. So you gotta catch them while you can. Anybody else? Good.
So while Frank's selling tickets, why don't I have EC Sykes come up?
Why not?
You want to come up and you're the winner of the primary.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you. Like, so, primaries are never always exciting, never desired. We had one. We're glad to be on the other side of it, and we're thankful for your help in it. You know, as we look through it, you may have seen we were able to be successful with a little more than 84% of the vote that's there. But even better news than that is that Granville County was on the higher side. So you pulled the average up, I appreciate your support. Here you really went above it, and it means a great deal to Susan and I, as you now made us your nominee for North Carolina Senate. This is your first time in a long time to have conservative Republican representation for Granville County. And we take that really serious. We take the responsibility serious and in the role and what we need to do in the near future to win not only your support, but others. Here's what's at stake. You may recall that in North Carolina, we need 2 more Senate seats to get a veto-proof majority in the Senate. And without that, we're not going to be able to get conservative legislation passed. You talked about parental rights. Governor Cooper has already vowed that he would veto it before the ink has been written on the document. So that's where that's going. He'd already vetoed the Born Alive bill. He vetoed the bills for voter integrity. There was a bill that our legislation passed that said if there is an accusation of voter fraud, that the State Board of Election will not investigate themselves, but the SBI will investigate what the State Board of Election is doing, and the governor vetoed that bill. And any other bills we want to protect our elections and to drive our conservative agenda. You're the most important people in the state because of where you happen to reside in the structure. See, the Senate caucus went through and looked at all the seats. Last night we had an event, and Ted Alexander was there. Senator Alexander does not have a primary, does not have a general. His seat's easy to win.
Okay.
He got rated a 1 on their scale to how do we get to 30. As they rate each seat on how to get to 30, looking for those final 2, the district that you are in is the district that decides if we're going to have a veto-proof majority or not. District 18 sits in seat number 30. You are it. What the people in Granville County decide, Northern Wake County decide, will determine whether North Carolina is able to pass conservative legislation or not. If ever there was a time that you wanted to get involved and make a difference in an election, now's the time to do it. Before I tell you how to do that, let me just remind you about some of the important things that's at stake. Not only is it the conservative principles that I just mentioned there, but you've also seen the leak from the Supreme Court about the Roe versus Wade, which is actually what motivated me to run for election, because it was rumored even in October that that's the way this was going to go. And thank God that's the case. Maybe like you, I've marched, I've prayed, I've fasted, I've wept, I've done everything that I know to have done to ask for this time in our nation to be over. And we're looking at a point where in November that may be the case. It will be over if we can get the right people elected in this time. And so now's the time for us to get involved in those pieces. I want to say one more point about that. Look, the issue of life is an important issue. And we need to understand that the people that are facing that decision very often are in a great deal of stress. Actually, statistics are 75% of the time that if a woman, if a mother, had another solution, they would choose life. When we think about this legislation, we need to think about it from the aspects of how do we do to help everybody. Just focusing on the life of the unborn is not going to get us where we need to be. We need to be thoughtful about the mothers that are there and the families that are there and the impacts to them as well. This is a time for us to show what compassionate, conservative Christians look like, and to do it in a way that's Christ-honoring. And so I ask for your support in this issue, and just remind you how important an issue it is for us. Of course, the people we're running against do not have that same opinion. And so we'll have bright lines of difference on some very clear biblical issues that are there. So how can you help? This vote will probably come down to a few hundred people that will make the decision. Those people may reside here. Our ability to touch and let them know the differences between the candidates are going to be critical. And we need your help to do that. We're putting together a structure now by precinct, by neighborhood, with captains, so that we can do door knocks and so we can engage. Go to our website, ec4nc.com. You'll see a place there to volunteer. You'll see on that a pull down that says different ways you can volunteer. We want to go, we have to create that structure now in order for us to be successful in November. We can't start it later, we gotta get started now. I need you to go there now so we can start building out the structure. Wait until August or September will be too late for us, right? And so ec4nc.com is where you can go, register, volunteer. We would greatly appreciate it. The final thing you can do to help me is getting a chance to meet and greet people is incredibly important. People need to know who represents them. And you have friends and neighbors. And I would like an opportunity to say hello to them. And so I'm offering you, I'll come to wherever you choose, your house, a restaurant, whatever. Let's have a coffee, let's have a breakfast, let's have a light lunch, whatever you like to do, to give me the opportunity to introduce myself as their conservative Republican nominee for the NC Senate for their district. We're fortunate and blessed to be at this point. Thank you for your votes for helping us to get this to this point in our journey. We're excited about the support that's already been offered, not only from you, but also the people from Wake County and from the Senate caucus, as we run the critical seat for NC Senate in 2022. Thank you.
So let me just talk about door knocking and volunteering. Typically what a candidate is going to ask you to do is, if you live in STEM, the candidate's not going to ask you to go to Wilton and knock on doors where you're not comfortable and you don't know people. So think about your neighborhood, think about the road you live on, think about your community, and think about how you can help guys like EC and Frank and Tim and Brad, I can't forget Brad, and Vance. Now that Vance is countywide. Think about how you can help, and coordination is key, so that when we go to a house, we're not just going for you, we're going for the other candidates that are affected in that district. And so let's think about your street, your community, your neighborhood, your cul-de-sac, and get involved, please, because we're going to need everybody. We're going to need everybody out. We're going to need everybody voting this year. Tim Karen, County Commissioner, District 6. You're going to come up and give us a Reader's Digest version, what's going on in Granville County, and what happens in this very room when you meet at this very desk.
Awesome. Props.
Oh,
nice.
Here,
He's a prop. So this is metaphoric. Obviously, you see it's a recycled chick bag. I brought my budget. I can turn this into this cute little wine bag too, if you like. And I sell these because I'm a farmer and I need to get back the $20 I spent on this bag right here. So anyways, I did bring a couple of things. And again, I'm Tim Karen, and I am a County Commissioner, District 6, and I am running for re-election this year. I am unopposed on the ballot, but that does not mean that I am unopposed. So I said that last month, and I'll continue to say that. It is paramount. So EC mentioned it, and I'll reiterate. Governor Roy Cooper is running against this guy right here.
Yeah, he is.
I just got an email the other day about, not to talk bad about candidates and their opponents and all that, but Mary Bodie's got Roy Cooper coming and talking about how wonderful she is and how bad he is. Yeah. So she's got $350 in the bank at this point. That's $350,000 in the bank right now. So it's a little bit of money, a lot of things at stake. So I was asked to give you a 7-hour presentation about the budget and some other things going on in Granville County. I'm going to try and pare it down to 7 minutes or 750,000 miles an hour, whichever one you like. So if I talk too fast, just stop me and I'll go back. Lots of good things going on in Granville County. I brought this bag as a metaphor. We have recycled and reused in Granville County for the last decade, and I've been part of it. We turned the DSS building We turned the senior services building into the DSS building, the DSS building into the senior services building. We turned the cooperative extension building into the elections building. We turned the flat top building at the research center for the North Carolina Tobacco Research Department into the cooperative extension. We built a couple libraries. Good things are happening. And that's the last decade. So we've already gone through the recycle reuse. We built a brand new correction center, jail, the Tajma 85. Because the old jail from the 60s that was older than I was, if you jumped up and down on the inside of that cell enough times with enough of those inmates that you had to go through them to get to the other door to unlock it as a jailer, you had gone through into the sinkhole underneath that building. Things have a purposeful, useful life, and sometimes you reach that point, and sometimes you can't recycle, repurpose, and reuse. So we built a brand new jail. We also built a brand new animal control. I got the ball rolling on that. Sue Hinman pushed it across, Commissioner Sue Hinman pushed it across the finish line. You've got a brand new economy of scale. We're already building a new jail to house the inmates. We need to build a new jail to house the puppies and the kittens while they were getting ready to get new homes. So we did that. When you're ramping up for construction, when you got the bulldozer on site and all the masons on site, it's sometimes more economically viable to build 2 buildings instead of just 1. And we took advantage of that, and we saved money. If we would have had to ramp back up and redo that process over again, it would have cost us probably double what it cost us to get that animal control building. So 2 great facilities that I'm really, really proud of. So the budget, I'm tri-budgeted. I've got my annual budget that runs like your year at the home, where you start at January 1st and you run through the calendar year. I've got my county budget, which is fiscal year 2022-2023. We're mandated by the state of North Carolina to have our budget in place by July the 1st, which is just around the corner. We're having a 5-7 hour budget meeting on Tuesday if you'd like to join us.
Yes, please come.
And I will try and give you the Cliff Notes version of that tonight really, really quickly. So we're gonna have some audience participation. I'm gonna make you laugh, and I'm gonna make you cry, and then I'm gonna send you home before the sun goes down, right?
I have 2 more things, but yeah.
Damn it, man. All right, so I'm gonna start with one of the things that I've been working on for quite a while. When I was the chairman of this board, after I got blocked by the Democrats here to become the chairman of this board, I set in place a fire services committee structure saving. And Mike Butler was a citizen representative on that from District 6, and we spent a year and a half figuring out that there are some unserved folks in Granville County that do not have fire service protection. And I'm here to tell you folks, county government, we're not mandated to provide you fire protection. That's a bunch of volunteer folks that get together in the community and do it because they love each other. That is not a function of county government. Well, this year, thanks to the board and thanks to the groundwork that we laid here, the county government is getting involved in that function. We have set up a non-incorporated fire district in Granville County. What does that mean? Long and the short of it, there's going to be a tax increase. Everybody, if you would please stand up for a second. Now, if you go to work during the day or at night, sit back down. Now, if you can wear a 40 pounds of gear and haul a 100-pound hose, possibly go up a 40-foot ladder, then you can remain standing, but otherwise sit back down. So we got we got one guy who didn't listen to instructions. There's not many people who are willing to volunteer to get up in the middle of the night or at 9 o'clock in the morning when everybody else is at work, okay, to put on 30 or 40 pounds of gear, haul a hose in their spare time for fun. That day has gone by. And it's going to take some time, but here in Granville County, since we're venturing into this non-incorporated fire services protection zone, we're going to start to move forward and have fire services that we all want and deserve. Unfortunately, it's going to become a forced voluntary contribution. And I'm sorry to say that sometimes as a government official, I have to reach into your tax pocket and pull some money out. Fire service is incredibly important. And I'll talk about that. It's about a 6 cents tax increase this year. But there's some things that will allow us to do that we haven't been doing. We've been funding our fire departments in Granville County, the 14 of them, both rural and city paid fire departments. You notice I talked about unincorporated. Oxford, Butner, the city of Creedmoor has voted to exempt themselves from the fire district. So, and STEM, thank you, Commissioner. Those folks are gonna be not facing this tax increase that we are. However, I'm gonna use Brassfield in the southern end that I'm most familiar with as an example. They've been getting about $80,000 a year to run their fire department. It costs about $135,000 to $140,000 a year to run their fire department. And that's with 100% volunteer force. So the bell goes off, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, most of the folks are at work, a couple folks lagging around. Of course, we dispatch 3 departments at a time. So how much time does it take for a person to get from where they are to the firehouse, to get the truck, to go to your house to put it out? Or if you're having a heart attack, laying on the ground, you make the same whistle. So it's time that we do this. So I'll talk about that in a minute. I want to get back to this behemoth of a budget. So this year, the county manager is recommending that we have, at the board's request, no tax increase because we are facing a 6-cent non-incorporated fire services tax increase. So what does that actually mean? So Granville County is a $77,737,238 budget. So $78,000. We're going to use $500,000 of fund balance at this point. However, we have $6,470,844,000 worth of service expansions requested in this budget. What does that mean? So your schools are requesting $1.4 million of extra money. BGCC is requesting $1.3 million worth of additional monies. The Sheriff's Department is requesting in 2 different sects $574,000 of additional money for deputies, $447,000 for additional detention staff, and $350,000 for other expenses. Your IT services in Granville County is asking for $614,000. So anyways, these service expansions, above and beyond your normal budget, should the Board of County Commissioners adopt a budget with 0 tax increase, will have 0 service expansions. So just to kind of give you a feel for where you are on things, it's not promised at this point. One of the things that's driving the budget at this point and why we're able to actually offer a 0 tax increase is the stewardship of the board. This year you've got $1.3 million of debt service coming off. So that means that you've got loans that you've paid in advance, paid ahead of time, that you don't have to pay anymore because we've been fiscally responsible. You've also got $1.1 million of fire services money that you are going to be shifting and shafting into a new, and I'm just using that term because it's the word on the street term. You're going to be shifting into a new long-term funding source. So between the $1.3 million of debt service and the $1.1 million of fire services coming out, you're looking at about a $2.5 million of money that's freed up in the budget from last year to this year. So we've spent that money, folks.
Tim, that 6 cents is also, it's not going into the normal taxes. It's in that fire
Service is completely
only,
separate.
so it can never be commingled. It can never go to the schools. It can never go to the Sheriff's Department. It is the fire department's money. It's not going anywhere else. So that's cheaper for you than one ambulance trip or one fire department trip when they come to check on you.
So we can talk about that offline if you like. I like to, again, try to keep it a little bit on the tight side. So budget drivers, right? So you've got, remember, I just talked about the $2.5 million we just spent. You've got for health insurance this year for all the county employees, all the 600 and some people that work for the county. It's $290,000 more for health insurance. Our retirement benefits that have been mandated by the state to go up because of the schools are obviously crying about their unfunded mandates. We have $130,000 of unfunded mandate from the state requiring us to put a set aside for our employees' retirement benefits. Our merit pay increase to keep our quality key employees. Now this is up to 4%. This is discretionary. This is something that if you've got a low performing employee, they won't be eligible. This is to keep the creme de la creme happy here in Granville County. Because of the economy right now and where we are located in the Research Triangle and our neighbors, our merit pay increases is projected to be about $563,000. Our schools, we pay them more every year. Every year in the last 12 years that I'm on this board, Granville County School Systems has gotten more money out of this board than the previous year. This year's program to serve less students. This year's programmed increase is about $268,431, and it's a program increase, and it's about. I couldn't give you the cents on that, but I'm sorry for that. Public health, which is your advanced Granville Health Department, your programmed increase in their department is about $99,000. Recreation funding, we've reinstituted the mini grants, which is your municipalities, there's 5 in Granville County, as well as your school systems, which is the largest recipient of mini grants. So when you talk about your softball fields and your baseball fields getting resurfaced, or locker rooms getting painted, or dugouts getting replenished, the county funds through mini grant programs those school systems set aside lack of interest to the tune of about $154,000 a year. VGCC, we're mandated because of the fact that it's Vance and Granville. If Vance County does an upgrade at the central campus, Granville County has to kick in. We're mandated because of Vance County's desire to grow Vance Granville Community College. Again, they're asking us for $1.3 million. We're mandated to pay them an additional $449,000. So if you sum up that $2.5 million that we saved in paying off debts early and not funding the fire service through the general fund anymore, you just see where we spent that $2.5 million with the health departments, the retirement fund, the merit pay, the school funding, the public health, the recreation, and Vance Granville Community College. So our fund balance is strong here in Granville County. We've got about a 36% fund balance, which is 36% of our overall funding for the year. So you look at $77 million as our annual operating budget. We hold about 36% of that reserve. So that's the high level budgetary talks. And again, I'd be super happy to talk to anybody about what's going on. But we're going to touch on a couple of the steering committees and things that we serve on. There's 24 different committees here in Granville County. We need your help. We've got, I personally right now have got appointments open on the Board of Adjustments. Someone stepped up in this very room 6 months ago and volunteered to join that, and now they're moving out of state. So I've got a Board of Adjustments opening again. I've had a library board appointment opening for quite some time. District 6, obviously down in Youngsville, Wake Forest, end of Granville County. We don't have a library. In fact, we only have one school in my district, that's about it. But other than that, we need folks to serve on these committees. Again, go on the county website, find out boards and commissions, I think is what it's called. There's tons of stuff. Planning board, zoning board, Board of Adjustments, library board, elections,
animal control,
DSS, animal control, human relations, and go on the website and check it out. But let me look at my notes to make sure I'm forgetting all kinds of things. Economic impact. So, economic development. You should be very proud of the fact that Granville County has grown from a industrial standpoint in this year, fiscal year, which is going back till last summer. Is that time? 551. So, almost $400 million. We just announced in this very room Project Diamond, which was actually certaintied. diamond with the whole fact that they use aggregates, I guess, in their process. $11 million investment. So if you do the tax at 84 cents per 100 evaluation, and you think about a $11 million investment, what's the payback on that next year? So Granville County this year added $300 million of commercial. And that's not just, your $150,000 to $500,000 house. This is millions of dollars of commercial real estate, which is the crux of what we need in Granville County. To keep our taxes at 84 cents, which we're the 6th highest taxed county in the state of North Carolina, at 64,000 in population, we need industrial growth. We're actually at 2.9% unemployment rate, which they call full employment. We need workers, so it's one of these chasing the egg kind of things. We've got new employers coming, more on the line. This year, Katie barred the door. It's been a roller coaster ride of fun activity. We're hiring a new county manager. We've just hired a new economic development coordinator to go after new business and industry. We're morphing our existing, Mr. Mills, Harry Mills, our current economic development director, into retention capabilities, because we found in the last 5 years, we have gotten almost $1 billion worth of new investment in Granville County from existing business. OnTech Engineering, which I'm proud to say I helped recruit 3 years ago, OnTech Engineering is investing $150 million in Granville County. They are building a new addition in their site in Butner, North Carolina, and they're going to have upwards of 600 engineers, and these are jobs that pay the minimum starting salary of $65,000 a year. So those are the kind of folks that we want. Average salary in that organization is $85,000 a year. These are the kind of jobs that Granville County needs, Granville County wants, and we are getting. So my fear, honestly, is that we're going to run out of people to fill these awesome jobs. I've dealt with some folks here recently in the last couple of weeks, looking at taking down 500,000 square feet of commercial space. I don't know about y'all, but 500,000 square feet of commercial space is pretty huge. I don't know what you put in that. And it seems you need a couple people to work there. So Granville County's growing. Granville County's growing strong. The downside, for the short term, it's going to cost some money. So hopefully, and with the way that things normally work in this world, these investments are paying off. You've got an industrial park right now that is on the verge of being taken down, and it's jobs, jobs, jobs. And I'm tickled pink to be involved with it. Hopefully we can get our schools turned around. You got Danielle Hayes right here that just won her election, which is fantastic. You got a new constitutional sheriff on the precipice of taking over Granville County. Things are looking rosy. I mean, honestly, I've never been more excited to be involved in local government than I am right now. Brad coming on to replace a long-serving member of this community, it's going to be awesome. But what it's going to take is people like you in this room, and there's not many of us. We need to get our shoulders behind the wheel and push as hard as we possibly can, because this is a roller coaster. And sometimes you go looking at the sky and you wonder what's going to happen, and there's a big drop coming, and you're going to turn that wheel, and it's going to be a screamer, which is a good thing. People sometimes don't like to drop off the precipice, but in this case, things are looking really, really good for Granville County. Our water and sewer situation is strong. We've just launched a investigatory committee. And Mike Wood is part of that on the Environmental Affairs Committee to make sure that our groundwater resources are where they need to be and that we're not overtaxing our environment. We're in the Falls Lake watershed on the southern end, in the Tar Pam in the middle, and the Roanoke in the top. So we got 3 different river basins. We are ecologically strong here in Granville County, and there's nothing going to stop us. So I will, unless there's anything specific that this body needs,
I'd like to ask a question.
I will. And again, just, you know, as we get to that, I told you I was gonna make you cry at the end. We'll hit that right quick. Go ahead.
Your question. Okay. So we just discussed the possibility of Republican majority in the county commission, right? And my first thought was, good, that means we'll probably have a tax decrease in our county taxes. But now instead, we're talking about a 6-cent increase
For non-incorporated fire services.
for non-incorporated.
So if you live in the city of Oxford, the town of Butner, the city of Creedmoor, or the city of Stem, you will not face that tax increase.
So, but the majority of people do not live, will
So?
possibly in Oxford.
Right.
So I would, but regardless of that.
So what
the
that's-
sixth highest in the state.
What that six-
Granville County is the 6th highest in the state.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, as a Republican, a lifelong Republican, I'm just saying that I see Republicans as the conservative,
Mhm.
fiscally conservative and socially conservative. But, and I see that this person, this group is asking for this agency is asking for that, and I understand that. But this has been the problem in Granville County, and this is why we're the 6th highest in the state. It's because nobody ever says no, okay? Now,
That's not the case.
Have we had a decrease in the amount of children that are in public school? Has there been a decrease? You just said there's
So-
a decrease, but they're asking for more money.
So there's not been a
Public school-
decrease in the public school population in 12 years. It's been exactly the same.
It's been exactly the same.
The
So
public
why
school
they-
education, but charter school has taken almost
35%
Yeah,
of Granville
30%.
County children now attend school outside of our public school
So it
system.
costs almost,
So they lose federal money when they lose a student.
no, they don't. So they live the local funding, and
So they need more money even though the number of students is staying the
that's your
same.
school board. Has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Yes.
So the 6-cent increase is carved in stone now.
Your fire services, what you get right now is you have no opportunity for additional equipment or apparatus. You have no additional opportunity for additional stations. What the 6 cents will give you is about $300,000 a year for additional apparatus and about $300,000 a year for additional stations. So when you look at the underserved and unserved in Granville County, and you look at the population in those districts, you're gonna look at probably 2 new fire stations at a minimum. It's probably gonna take 3 to 5 years to build them, because you're looking at, to outfit a fire station at about $4 million for each, to buy the station itself, the trucks and all that stuff. We're talking about $500,000 for apparatus.
Well, I've called the STEM Fire Department before. In under 2 minutes, they were at my house. I've called EMS before, very recently, because my husband suffered a heart attack. They were at my house, and my address is STEM, not the city. And they were at my house in 9 minutes.
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
I just commend them all.
That is absolutely
So,
fantastic.
you know, I'm against this, I'm always against a tax increase. I'm sorry, I feel like somebody will have to hear no. And I expect Republicans to do that.
When the average response time in a district for a fire in parts of the county is pushing 24 minutes, and the average response time for an ambulance is pushing 18 minutes.
In northern County.
And you've got what's called underserved. We've got
I
a
mean,
pretty big
I live
population.
in an underserved area because I'm not in a city limits.
So you're not 9 miles from your fire station or 12
No.
miles from your fire station.
3 maybe.
Right, so you're not underserved. You're fortunate. You've got folks that live in the Franklinton area or in the Youngsville area who are 12.5 miles from the nearest fire station, and a 45-mile-an-hour road and a fire truck fully loaded with water. You're looking at about a 23-minute response time if there was a loaded driver sitting in the truck at the moment the call came in. So there are people in this county who are underserved.
So if you're not in the city limits, you're still going to be considered when you're paying your taxes as underserved, correct?
Well, it's the rising tide rises all boats.
I was at the STEM town meeting when they decided not to go along with this fire district,
Right.
but they're going to raise the STEM taxes 6 cents
I don't
To
live
cover
in the
that.
city, so they're not paying. I don't
The
live
city
in
of
the city.
STEM pays,
But-
out of the
but-
city of STEM's
I'm not-
taxes,
But
out
the
of the
thing
city of
is-
STEM's taxes, the citizens of STEM, the 600 and some odd people that live in the city of STEM, pay 30 some odd $1,000 a year for a paid driver. Those citizens pay for that paid driver. The citizens of Creedmoor, the citizens pay for paid drivers, and they're paying 60 some $1,000 a year for paid drivers. So the unincorporated areas, and you live in an unincorporated area, are the benefactors of those municipalities paying those extra charges. What this fire services does, when you look at the metrics and you look at things, we need to have paid drivers in the non-municipal fire stations. STEM is a municipal fire district, Creedmoor is a municipal fire district, Bruce Garner's, or Butner's municipal, Oxford's municipal, but when you get up into Virgilina, or you get down into Brassfield, those are not paid services. There's no extra little teat for them to be pulling on. There's no municipality to pay the $30,000 for a paid driver, or the $90,000 in Creedmoor, or the 100 and some odd $1,000 that Oxford pays. So when you talk about mutual aid, sometimes it's not the actual fire department that serves those people, but the mutual aid that responds. And that happens a lot of times in this area. We actually dispatched 3 fire departments, each structure fire call, 2 for a vehicle accident. You get deaths all the time that occur here in Granville County on every road in the state of North Carolina. And your fire departments, volunteer folks are responding to those things. And again, the volunteerism is down and the population is up. And I'm sorry, as a Republican, there's some things that you have to vote for tax increases, and this is one of them, public safety.
Yes, but we've had Republicans elected, when you've been in office, how long?
I've been in office for 12 years.
12 years, that's what I was thinking. So,
And I've raised taxes 10 cents, and 9 of those cents go into our public school system. And 1 of those cents went to our jail, because it was an unsafe situation for our people to be in. And
if there's something.
I've had an opportunity to raise your taxes about 20 cents, but I've held the line at the 10 cents that I've said. So I've said no. I've said no many times, many times.
But everyone is
So-
agreeing to say yes to this. All the Republicans that are on the county commission are agreeing to say yes to this increase. Is that, I mean, I'm just asking.
To the,
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
fire district?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. It's already passed. It's already in place. Already a done deal. Already done.
Yeah.
And we had public hearings on it,
Again.
multiple public hearings.
Again, the hope of having a Republican majority on the county commission kind of excited me, because I'm thinking maybe for 1 year, we will have a tax decrease.
I doubt
No, in about 3 years, you should see a very big, at least no need to increase it, because our debt is coming down, that we owe, is coming down drastically. But right now, the debt is the biggest thing that we're worried about, is getting that out of there.
And I don't see an appetite for the increase, the $6.4 million service expansion at this point. So it's a zero, other than the fire services, which is a completely new, and there's only 2 other counties in the state of North Carolina who have not adopted a fire services district. We're the second to last one in the state.
Yeah.
So it's new and it's scary, and it's gonna cost us some money.
Do you know the difference between Person County's county taxes and Randall?
I'm gonna take my meeting back over and
So-
let you guys discuss this in the
Can I
parking
finish?
lot.
Yeah, can I finish one last thing?
One last thing.
Can I have everybody stand up?
Working out.
And I'm obstinate, so I'm sorry. So there's a little song that I really like, and it makes me cry every time I sing it. And it kind of goes like, God bless America, land that I love. And I would love for you all to sing it with me. And again, it's God bless America, land that I love. We all know that song?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Or you can just say the words.
Frank.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her with the light from above. From the mountains to the valleys, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America.
Trey?
The microphone. You're good. That's good.
All right.
Okay, so I just want to, just real quick. In 1999, I ran for my first elected office, and I had a primary, and there was 4 of us, and I subsequently had a primary again in 2024 and in 2004, 2006. So I've been part of 3 primaries as a candidate. And speaking of candidates, I just want to thank the candidates that are in this room for giving your time and your energy to run and your dedication to run. It takes a lot, and it takes a lot from your family, it takes a lot out of you, and I really, really do thank you all for taking the time. Not just doing this for your district, but for your county, for the state, for your nation, and primaries are a necessary thing. You know, sometimes we hurt the ones we love the most, and sometimes it brings out the worst in people and the best in people. And I think the important thing, and I just need to clear up the parties. As far as the chairman and the vice chairman and the party's position in the primaries, you know, well, let me just say that when I ran my primaries, there was no such thing as Facebook. So, I'm glad of that. We actually wrote letters to the newspaper and put things in newspaper boxes and dropped them on people's porches. And but as your chairman and the vice chairman, you know, we have to stay neutral in the primaries, and we work really hard to giving each candidate what they ask for. And sometimes, sometimes during a primary race, I have to act as the father and just let my 2 sons beat each other up in the backyard. Because that's what they need to learn a lesson. And then once they're done and they bloodied each other up, I bring them in the house and I clean them up. And we sit down at the table and we pray and we eat together. And we get back to being a family. And I think that's where we are right now. We need to get back to being the Republican Party of Granville County, because we have the better candidates and we have the better message and we have a better outlook for the county. So I would ask you all to do that. And whether you're the candidate that won or not, whether your candidate won or not, whether the candidate that you gave money to won or not, we now have Republican candidates, and those are our candidates. And that's what I'm asking y'all to do is do what's best for the party, and do what's best for the county, because what's best for the party is best for the county. Because again, we have the better candidates with the better message. With that, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 candidates here that I want to give the opportunity. EC already spoke, but we have 4 candidates that were participated in the primary, with Danielle's exception that your election was actually your general, when one or done. So if any of the 4 want to address the group or address the party, the chairman and the vice chairman have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or I'd be happy to give you the podium to speak your mind on whatever you want to speak your mind on. Danielle.
Can I come up there?
You may.
Okay.
Please do.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Okay. So first off, I want to say thank you so much. I had a tremendous amount of support, and I absolutely could not have pulled this off without my amazing volunteers. people who stood at the polls for me so I could take my kid to Taekwondo and or go to Scouts or or go to a PTA meeting or whatever I had going on that night. So I absolutely could not have pulled this off without the amazing help of all of you. So thank you so much. I want to piggyback off of Commissioner Karen for just a second. If we want to talk about where money in Granville County is going, it is absolutely going to our schools. They have a tremendous budget, nearly $75 million annually. And this year, when they are serving 35% less students than they served 10 years ago, they are asking for an additional $1.9 million from the county commissioners on top of the $18.8 million that they asked for last year. So if you want to know where your money is going, that's where it's going. Well, good question. You said you live in STEM. Who's your school board member?
I don't have children.
That's a great thing for you to find out. So it's honestly, I want to commend our conservative commissioners for being awesome stewards of our money here. What we really need is some awesome stewards of your money on the school board, and that is absolutely what I intend to make a priority. You guys have heard me. I talked about the survey that was given back in November. There have been some other things, some programs that our board has spent money on that I absolutely don't agree with, that are not serving our students, they are not serving our campuses that are falling apart around us, and they are not serving our teachers. So we really need to get in there and we need to fix that budget. And it can't just be the 1 or 2 conservatives that we actually have on the board. So I really hope that you guys, I would love to see you at a meeting. I've been at every one this year, and there are some faces that have come out and have spoken for our school. So anybody who's interested in coming, it's budget season. So feel free to go and check it out and ask the hard questions. Ask them where your money is going. It's called an information request. You can make one to any government body. So I hope that you do that. And again, thank you guys for all the support, and I'm glad I don't have to do this again in November.
Vance, did you want to address the group?
Yeah, I'll be very brief. Everybody gonna be here overnight, and that looks like it's gonna be there. And I wish I don't have to wear shorts. But I'll be brief, but something, I'll echo the hard work that goes into this, the family, the stress on the family, all the helpers that it's just overwhelming for a candidate to see people that you really barely know at times, right? That just go full steam ahead to help you. And I think that's a party thing, and it's, it was fantastic. But one thing I want to talk about, I think, is something that Chad mentioned, because it's been said, I guess, from the beginning. I'm not the establishment candidate, so I don't know where in the world this comes from. I've heard it since the beginning. I'm going to clear the air and tell you that my wife is the first one who knew I was going to run for sheriff. My boss was second. I decided I was going to run before I even knew these two guys. I had to look them up. I had no idea who they were. And they knew I was running for sheriff when I told them I was running for sheriff. Yeah. So I have no idea where that came from. So it's and there was plenty of times that I would say, hey guys, what do I do? Well, you know what? We can't help you. So it's I think that needs to be cleared up for sure. I didn't know these guys until after I had decided to run for sheriff. And had talked to all the people that were important to me. Not that these guys are not important, but they were not part of our decision.
We're important yet.
Seriously. Right?
We weren't important yet.
No, right, exactly.
Life and the important people.
Right, the people that are gonna struggle through these things, right? So, it was important. I think that it's important to pull things back together. We're working on that. We're trying to organize, teams, because we do have to run in November. And we've got a lot of work to do on that, a lot of work. We need to beat the Democrat for sure, and I think we can do that. I think
No, we can do it.
I think we can.
We can.
But here's the thing that we gotta focus on, because we've got an unaffiliated candidate. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, because everybody's whispering about it, right? So we've got an unaffiliated candidate. So we've gotta focus on two different candidates. And we do not want the Democrat to win. It's not what Granville County needs. We need a conservative leader in that office. We need integrity in that office, and we need to bring it back. The only way that we're gonna make that happen, though, is we're gonna have to focus on what it's gonna take to beat the Democrat. And part of that is beating that unaffiliated candidate. So it's gonna take a lot of work, but I would encourage you, instead of whispering to me in the hallway, hey, that's gonna split the vote, go tell your neighbor it's gonna split the vote. Because I've heard that 200 times in the last week that that's what's gonna happen. So don't tell me, because I know it. Go tell your neighbors that that's what's gonna happen. Because I guarantee you that's what's gonna happen if we don't start talking about it. That's kind of serious. I wanted to end on a light note. But I want to say, just real quick, I want to thank Clint, because I think we've kind of formed a little bit of a friendship there, and he's a super nice guy, and I think that he was a good addition to the race. He really was. I look forward to having a relationship with Clint from here on out, because I just think, people would ask me when I was out campaigning, what do you think about this Clint? Honest guy. He's a super honest guy. He's got a good sense of humor. There's nothing bad you can say about Clint, right? And so I just look forward to that. I'm glad you're here tonight, and I hope you stay involved, very involved. It's important to the party. So, but that's it. I'll try to be brief, but thank you.
I'll just take a minute and just say something real quick. If you're out about Granville County and you find my butt, point to southeast Granville so you can come find me. They got kicked off somewhere down the way, and I'm
You're what?
Get behind.
I'll look for it.
Real quick, and we're gonna wrap it up. I see some new faces, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, thank you, welcome. That's all we got. I mean, I planned on a 10-minute meeting, and here we are. I appreciate everybody coming out. The only thing that I think RSVP, look us up online, answer the email when you get it in RSVP, because June, July, and August, we will not be doing the 6 to 7 cake coffee candidate, which we didn't do tonight. We're gonna be starting right at 7, and just try and streamline for the summer. And I really appreciate y'all coming out. And Frank, will you close this in prayer?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this great time to meet with friends and fellow Republicans, to talk about things that are near and dear to our heart. Help us to continue to work together. Bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Help us to strategize and to work in unity and in one accord. We pray you'll bless our leadership here in Vance County. We pray that you'll take us to our homes safely now and give us rest and a great rest of the week. We will thank you for all you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you all.
See you, buddy. You doing well?
That was it.